Welcome back. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long while since I updated a video. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna make excuses. It is what it is. Life happens. I'm kind of hoping that you guys that subscribed are just kind of getting like a pop-up in your notifications that, I made a new video. Hey. Um, but I mean, a lot's happened this past year. My son turned 18. I lost my mom in August. My husband and I um, started on a nutritional on a diet, basically, with a nutritionist slash doctor. Um, Main reason for that was my health was kind of going down the tubes. And my mom passed of heart disease, basically. So my cholesterol is high, my sugar is high, things like that. So, and she was fairly young. She was only 66, so I'm 44. It's kind of scary, So that was kind of a slap in the face. So a lot of changes have been going on, and just crazy hectic life. I mean, you get home from work and you do the typical shit. I have my husband, my son, I have two cats, two dogs. This program that we're on, we really have to watch what we're eating and be specific. So I would make dinners and then make lunch for the next day, and then just even though I have a lot of energy from eating like this, and I feel 100 times, 1,000 times better. Um, but it's a lot, and you still do get tired. Um, so you have to sleep. Um, so yeah, I've been putting this off for a while. This is actually gonna talk today about planners and journals and just kind of life things in general. But it all kind of ties in, right? I mean, the way we live and what we do, and the habits that we want to implement, and the new things that we want to try, the things we want to focus on. Those are all kind of things that you would put in a planner or in a bullet journal type of style, book. So I've always been a planner. I've always had some kind of like book to go by. In my other video, a look into my books, I spoke about using those little like wallet size or checkbook size planners where it was just like about yay long, and it just flipped open, and that was the whole month, and that was it. And it might have had like a page or something to add like notes or whatever, but I learned to write really small, and I learned to abbreviate a lot of things and whatnot. And I had those books from years ago. I mean, I had them from when my son was little, and it's really cool to look back and kind of read through them. And unfortunately, I lost them in Hurricane Sandy. Um, so but I got right back on the bandwagon with planners and everything. And this was in 2017, I want to say. I started, yeah, it was 2017. I started using the Llewellyn planner. Drove me nuts. It drove me nuts. I love the book because it has a lot of information in it, but it was broken down. I think it was a week on a page, or like 3 days and 4 days, something like that, but it was only weekly. It didn't have the monthly spread out. I need the monthly. I don't know why. It's just the way my brain is wired, but I need to see the whole month. So I was kind of using it, but kind of not using it. And we went to Pagan Pride in Manhattan. It was in September 2017. And there was, we were on our way out, and there was this little table that I didn't see before when I, walked in. And there was two women, and they just had these books. And I'm just like a book whore anyway. But I just like, I would tell my husband, say, wait, let me go see what that is. And I ran over there, and they had this golden nugget of wonderfulness. I don't know if you could see that with the glare. Guys, I don't do video. I'm videoing, taping from the phone, recording from the phone. I just totally dated myself. Recording from my phone. I don't know how to edit. I turned my heat down because it's a forced air system, so it's very loud. My dog is sleeping on the couch over here. My cats could run around at any time. I'm gonna just try to get through this without fucking it up too bad because I'm not editing. Here comes one of them now, maybe. So yeah, this is the Coloring Book of Shadows Coloring Book of Shadows Planner for a Magical 2018 by Amy Sassari. This is I can't even, when I saw this, I was just so absolutely happy. This is, it has a lot of different information as far as like correspondences and everything. She has the wheel of the year and moon phases. I don't know how you guys do it with the camera behind you looking down, so I know this is kind of wonky, but you know, bear with me. The zodiac, the sun and the moon in the zodiac. She has days of the week, time of the day. She has the whole year laid out at a glance, which I love. There's room for writing. Then you have a cover page for the month. You have the monthly. Then you have the weeklies, right? So you have the weekly, more space for just notes. And then every month is the same. And what I love about this is it's a good size. It's a good size to write in. It's a 9x6, right? And, you know, I'm a very creative person, and I can sit down and I can draw and I can paint and everything. But I just love this because it's a coloring book. So everything, and I didn't color everything, you know. But what I like to do at work, I'm a customer service representative for for a utility company here in New York City. So, you know, not often, but sometimes there's some downtime between calls or whatever, and I like to just be able to just whip this out. You know, I keep crayons, well, the twist up Crayola crayons in my drawer, and I'll just, you know, I just pick a page, and whatever calls to me that day, I'll just color in a few things here and there and doodle, whatnot. And I just love it because I don't have to, you know, I need to focus to draw. So I'm not one to like make doodles and stuff, but the doodles are already done for me. So I just color them in. And of course, they're season specific, they're Sabbath specific. She gives for each month, you know, a little bit about the moon, like April of 2018, moon roots, using the moon cycles to grow and move forward. So it's just a little snippet, you know, a little paragraph of information. You know, the typical like wheel of the year, holidays are in here. What she has on the weeklies every day is when the moon, you know, what zodiac the moon is entering and at what time. If it's void, of course, that's in there. So it's a lot of information packed into this book. It's just really just adorable. So I started using this, and I didn't even give it a second thought. I kind of have like a color system for myself that it just kind of happened, and I just stick with it. You know, so like here's a crazy month. This is what my typical planner looks like. So I have birthdays highlighted in blue. When bills are due, they're highlighted in green. Any like appointments or fun stuff was usually like orange or yellow. You know, I keep track of my sick days or anything and everything that you can think of that happens or is going to happen or should happen by a specific date is written in. And I can't be without this. You know, I was so happy to have this. So, of course, I ordered the 2019. And that's what I'm working on now, obviously. So I made this cover. This is like a larger cover that I had. It's a book cover, and I just cut it down to kind of loosely fit. And I love gargoyles, so there's my little guy. I made a bookmark out of just like a cord. I think this was like something for your hair, and I just put on a charm there on the bottom. And I just stitched it onto the cover with a jump ring. And so that's what I do now. So I didn't realize, I love YouTube. I'm a big YouTube junkie. I don't know how this moved. I'm sorry. My house is a mess. I keep a sheet over the couch because 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a black couch cover doesn't go well. But so I just want to kind of get that out of the way for the video. But I really started to think this year, you know, when I was going through YouTube and I'm watching videos on planners and more so bullet journaling now. So I really wanted to just get into that more. So I started that actually in November, and I really started to think about what I wanted to do for next year. I'm not typically a person that subscribes to like New Year resolutions and things like that. But I do get that sense. I do, feel that vibe this time of the year. I don't get it, in October for the Witch's New Year, October, November. For me, this is still the end of the year. The Witch's New Year is not the new year for me. It's the waxing time of the year. It's when things start to die down. You have that last like bang of excitement and fun and family and appreciation and everything. That's all for me between like October and December. So January, I do feel the renewal and the fresh start and everything like that. And so since my husband and I signed up with this nutritionist, that was in October, so we're going on 2 months with that now. We've made significant sorry, still just trying to adjust. We've made significant changes in our diets and our health and everything. So I feel like we're coming into the new year ready for a new start. We're coming in fresh. We got a jump start on the typical like New Year resolution and losing weight and everything like that. So what I wanted to do was be prepared for that to continue in a healthy way. So that required some extra things in my planner. Now the 2018, Amy sells these books as a hard, as a bound book, right? Soft cover. She sells it as a hard cover. She sells it as a spiral, which is what I got for 2019 because you can flip it back. So it takes up a lot less desk space when I'm at work. We sit in like those little like cubicle cubbies and everything, and I have the stand-up desk because of physical issues and whatnot, and it's just not healthy to sit all day. I mean, let's face it. But so that takes up most of my desk. I don't really need to write for my job. Everything we do is on the computer, so the computer desk takes up most of the cubby, and then I don't have much like writing space. So being able to flip it back and reduce it in size by half is ideal. But there's no way to enter pages. There's no way to add to it. There's no way to put any type of trackers or, graphs or anything like that. So I really wanted to focus on that. So of course, my brain, I went directly to binders. But binders, as you can't really flip back onto themselves, which led me to the discovery of the disc binding system. So of course, I tried to learn about that a little bit, and I kind of jumped on that. And what I created here was this planner for 2019. Okay, it's disc bound. It's got 9 discs. I drilled a hole in one of them. I don't know if you could see that there. It's like a hole. So I'm gonna make a divider, like similar to the one that I sewn in the other one. I'm gonna make that so that I could use that as well. I do have a today tab, but I still need a divider. So what I did was I ordered the 2019 in the regular bound book. Now she does have it as a download available, a PDF that you could download from Etsy, and I believe it's an A5 size. Which is a little bit smaller than this. So this is where I ran into an issue with the disc binding, because this is 9x6, so it's a little bit bigger. So I couldn't go buy pre-made A5 stuff for disc binding. So what I found out was when I punched it, I bought the whole punch for the disc binding system. It was on clearance in Staples for like 15 bucks. I bought the discs, obviously. And then I started on the search for covers and dividers and things like that. And yes, you can make them. There's a trillion videos out there with people who make their own covers and they laminate them and they make their own dividers and all that stuff. But I don't have the time. I don't have the space. I just didn't have the head for it. I just wanted this done and ready to go. And I wanted to focus more on the content rather than the setup, if that makes sense. So what I found was that the 3, 6, 9 disc disc binding is supposed to be compatible to the Happy Planner Classic. Okay, so I thought, great, wonderful. Okay, so I bought the Happy Planner Classic size cover from someone on Etsy. I bought dividers from someone else on Etsy, all that size, right? The problem though, what I didn't realize, the height is okay, right? But the width of it, the Happy Planner Classic is about another like 1.5 to 2 inches wide. So what I had to do was cut down the cover. So it didn't cut off too much. I cut off a little bit of her hands, and I think there was like another star over here. This is the back cover that came with it, so it cut off like half of the potion bottle, and I think that was like the rest of the eye over here, whatever. And I could have cut it on this side and repunched it, but I tried punching something else, and my punch got a little jammed up. So I was afraid with this being like a heavy cardboard and laminated that it might jam up instead. So I decided to just cut off the edge and leave the original punch. The reason why I wanted to go with the disc binding, I'll go through this. So this book has a lot more information and things that I'm going to incorporate into it. And I'm going to see how it goes for the year. I mean, everybody raves about this binding. They say that it holds up well and everything. And I mean, it's a little bit big. It's no bigger than the original planner, you know, really. But it's thicker. It's more substantial. The discs, you know, stick out and whatnot. But I usually carry like a book bag with me anyway, back and forth to work, so it's not like I use a small purse that I need it to fit in or anything like that. So the size of it really doesn't bother me. I just want to see with the in and out of the bag and how the pages hold up and everything. So this is going to kind of be an experiment. So what I did was, I didn't realize when I ordered them, I don't watch Harry Potter. I've never watched Harry Potter movies. I know, oh my God, right? Who hasn't seen them? I just can't get into it. But I saw this. So I don't know if you can read that with the glare, but it says, we've all got both light and dark inside of us. What matters is the part we choose to act on. That's who we really are, by Sirius B. So I didn't realize that that's a Harry Potter quote. And that was one of the pictures. The picture on Etsy, they don't show you all of the dividers, but that was like the main one. And that's why I ordered this set. So this is very Harry Potter-ish, but I don't mind. I really don't mind. That fell out. I got that, and then I got this other set of like witchy kind of dividers. I'm not a pink girl at all, and most of these are pink, but I think they're adorable. I really do. They remind me of like Holly Hobby stuff for some reason. I don't know if anybody remembers Holly Hobby from back in the day, but it's just really kind of cute and girly and not my typical choice at all. I'm more for the skulls and the blacks and the grays and things like that, but this has skulls. They're pink skulls with little hearts for eyes. Again, not my typical choice, but I don't know. I just love them, and I didn't overthink it. I just went with what I liked and moved on. So I do have an envelope page that holds my midliners, my colors, and a pen, my markers, and a pen. I may or may not leave that in there. I don't know. It's easy enough for me to just take it out and just leave it loosely in my bag. This was when I first started with setting up the bullet journal. So this is just a piece of cardboard that came from something, and it was already kind of folded. So I just covered up the fold with the washi tape because it is gray. So when it folded, it got like the white cracks in it or whatnot. And then it just folds out. So I have to work on that to make it into like a folder. I have to put the pocket. I may or may not keep that as well. This is a page from Amy's book that I colored. I just love it. So I left that there. So then we go into the setup of the actual book. So my first, let me turn this back. So my first divider is lists, right? I'm a huge list maker. I love writing things down. And I just have some lists in here. things that you know, reasons for rituals. And these are all just like things that from like YouTube videos or just things that I wanted to get out of my head. And obviously they're not all in here yet. I'm going to be adding to it as the year goes on. I'll be adding to it more this month to set up for the year. I have a gratitude log. I don't really subscribe to that either. I don't feel like you need to write your gratitude, you know, what you're grateful for every day. I feel like it's too much pressure. I feel like it's fake. You know, of course we're grateful for our home. Of course we're grateful to have shoes. Of course we're grateful for the everyday things. But what I find works is when I acknowledge and write something about something that really touches me. You know, if we're going through our day-to-day life and, you know, having kind of like an off day, a crappy day, a bad day, a sad, depressed day, whatever it is, and somebody says or does something, or you just happen to notice the sunset, or you just happen to, you know, something just pulls you out of that shitty mood that you've been in all day. And it just kind of makes you stop and think, or just makes you at that moment just realize how truly grateful you really are. You know, like I'm having a bad day and I'll get home and my husband will crack a joke and make me laugh, you know, and it just pulls me out of my head for that minute. And I'm just like, wow, you know, I have like a great guy, and he really, you know, he really does a lot, works hard. You know, and so in that moment, I'm grateful for him. Of course, I'm grateful for him every day. Of course, I'm grateful for everything in my life every day. But I don't feel the need to write it down unless I really feel it at that moment, you know. So I don't really have like an ongoing daily gratitude log. But I wanted to dedicate a page, at least a page for now. I'm sure I'll be adding more pages to that as the time goes on, but just somewhere to flip to jot something down when it hits me. Then my next one is notes. Shit, there's my folder that I don't have the pocket for. I've been wanting to do this video for over a week, and you know, my husband's at work, my son is out. So I said, let me just jump into it and do it before another week goes by. So I didn't really prepare. So my next one is notes. My next divider is notes. Now these are top dividers. I got top dividers for the stuff other than the monthlies. So in my notes section, obviously, it is really just blank paper for now. I bought, like I said, I originally bought A5 size. And you can see the difference here. Right, so this is, if you see here, let's do this. These are notes. These are note pages that I bought when I stocked up on all the A5 shit, thinking that, you know, it's gonna work. But this is the A5 size, and then behind it is some graph paper that I cut to have ready to move forward. So you can see the difference right there. It's not too much of a difference. It's not really all that much. But when you have the whole book put together and everything is all different sizes and everything, it gets wonky. And then, like I said, the covers were even bigger. So I would have like the meat of the book up to here, and then the covers would kind of go like this over here and completely close. And it was just extra. And I just didn't feel like that was going to work. So that's why I cut everything down. So my notes section is pretty much empty except for a wheel of the year that I'm working on. Now this, I don't really follow along too much with the actual like Sabbats on the typical pagan wheel of the year. I do make note of them usually, just so I have an idea of what's going on. But a lot of them don't really even resonate with me, like Lugnasad. I kind of connected with that this year. You know, I kind of flipped it to how it's relevant to my life. I don't know how this keeps moving. Wow. Okay. I kind of like reinvented it in my head so that it was more coinciding with what goes on, you know, in today's world, in my life and everything like that. But I'm going to try loosely. I've said it to myself in the past, and I haven't really done it. You know, like Imbolc and you know, all those like Sabbats, they really just don't resonate. I mean, what am I gonna say? I'm a bad pagan, I guess. Whatever. But I'm making my own wheel of the year. So focusing on the waxing and waning points of the year, I do have the solstices and the equinoxes. Um, I am adding in birthdays, holidays, like my own personal holidays, personal things in my life that I'll celebrate. Um, I'm gonna have it color coded. I have the correspondences with north, south, east, and west as they relate to the elements and the seasons. So just like a quick kind of at a glance thing for myself that's personal. And I really recommend this because, to be a pagan or Wiccan or witch or subscribe to any one of those or any combination of those labels, you know, um, I don't feel like it's authentic to just follow a book. And, if you're celebrating a Sabbath because it's the Sabbath and it doesn't mean anything to you and you don't feel it, if you have to refer to a book to find out what colors you need to use and what herbs you need to use and what you're supposed to eat and what you're supposed to do and everything, then to me, I feel like that's not natural. What's the point, you know? So there's certain things and days or whatever that I may celebrate, and I'm gonna make my own wheel of the year based on that. So I highly recommend that. Um, and then it just goes into my monthly. So now this is where a lot of the changes came in between Amy's book and making my own with the disc bound system. I wanted to track and see the correlation between my sleep habits, my mood, my eating habits, and my water intake. Now, these are typical things that you see in a bullet journal or a planner, and I try to not like reinvent the wheel. But I thought about it some, and I really thought that it would be beneficial. And this is one of the reasons why I brought up the whole diet thing that we're doing at Nutrition, because it's going to be a big part of the following year for me. So what I did was I made a graph on graph paper to track, right? So it has sleep, mood, healthy eating, and hydration. And I have from 1 to 15, so I'm doing a half a month at a time. And I have from 1 to 10 going up. These are the days of the month. And I also included just the 2 major moon cycles for within that time frame. So what I'm going to do on January 1st, right? I'll look at what time I went to bed on the 31st. I'm going to track how many hours I slept. So if I slept 7 hours in the 7 box, I'm going to put, what color is it? Purple. I'm going to put a purple dot next to the 7 under the 1st. And I'm going to do the same for my mood at the end of the day. Did my mood rate from a 1 to a 10? And I'm going to put an orange dot. So for each day, I'm going to have 4 colored dots. At the end of the 2 weeks, I'm going to take the corresponding color and connect the dots. So like I'm going to have a purple line that's going to go through the 15 days, and it's going to go up and down to connect the dots to correspond with how many hours sleep I got. Follow me? So if I get 6 hours sleep, then 8 hours sleep, then 5 hours sleep, 6 hours sleep, and it's going to go up and down to follow how many hours. On top of that, I'm going to do the same with the orange. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have 4 different color graphs overlapping each other based on the days of the week. And what I want to see with that is how my health, how my mood was affected by how I ate, how my mood was affected by how much sleep I got, how everything correlates with everything. You know what I mean? I'm also going to add on the top here, I do it in the front of the book, I'll go back to that in a minute, but I'm also going to circle or color in the squares for the days that I have my period, because I also want to track with the moon cycles how everything is affected by the moon cycle, how everything is affected by my menstrual period, my menstrual cycle, and these. So this one page, this one tracker, I'm going to be able to look at 6 different things. I'm going to be able to look at my sleep, my mood, my eating habits, my hydration, and how that correlates with my menstrual cycle as well as the moon cycle. So one page, 6 different things to track. I like to compact things, so I don't want to do a separate tracker for my cycle or a separate tracker for my water. It's just too many things to keep up with. If I could flip to one page and fill everything in, or the most important things to me at the time for that day on one page, I'm more likely to stick to it. Okay, what I tried to do here in the past, which is another reason why I wanted to kind of redo the planner, was because I had like pages like this taped in, and this was just like a water tracker. So I was supposed to put tick marks next to each day every time I drank water, and obviously I didn't keep up with it. This is completely blank, and there's more blank ones in this book than there are ones that are filled in. So I'm trying to make this more usable, more practical. And then, so after that, I may or may not use this. This is a graph or a tracker from The Patient's Guide to Chronic Fatigue Syndrome and Fibromyalgia by Bruce Campbell from 2006. And this is a symptom log. So I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, IBS. But I got to tell you, since I'm eating cleaner, I don't really, I feel so much better. So the program that we're on itself is kind of going to come to an end like later on this month. And then we're going to kind of take over from there on our own. So in January is really going to be where the work starts for me, because, you know, I have a lot of books, a lot of cookbooks to refer to for like low carb meals and paleo meals and things like that. So that's something new for me too, which I want to incorporate into this book, is meal planning. You know, making up a shopping list. I used to just kind of go to the supermarket and I had a list of like the, you know, staple stuff that you need, whatever, like creamer for the coffee, paper towels, like all that stuff. But for actual meals, I kind of would just wing it, and I would just go to the meat section and just pick up whatever, and then be like, all right, well, I can make this, and that with this, and, you know, I'll just grab some pasta and sauce and sausage and just make that as quick, you know. And this is how my family and I fell into bad eating habits. So that's one big change for me that's coming up in the new year, is sitting down, dedicating a little bit of time each week to doing a meal plan for the week with healthy meals, creating a shopping list from that. Now, I'm not going to do the shopping list in here. I may do the meal plans in here just so I have something to look back to as a quick reference on, you know, recipes that we tried and things that we liked or didn't like, or how I tweaked it, or how I can tweak it in the future or whatever. But the actual shopping list, I'm not bringing this to the supermarket with me. You know, that's just crazy. That's just going to be like an extra like list, piece of paper, scrap paper, whatever, that I throw in my back pocket. I go shopping, I cross shit off as I put it in the cart, and then it gets thrown away. I don't need to keep those in here. So I don't know if I continue to eat this way and add back certain foods and everything like that, if I'm really going to need the symptom log. But I put it in there at least as a precaution for January, as we start to add back different kinds of foods and things like that. And a side note on that, people, if you're having any kind of like health issues that really don't point to anything major or specific, you know, if you're having stomach issues and you go to a gastroenterologist and nothing shows on the test, you know, God forbid you don't have like cancer or a tumor growing or anything like crazy like that. I personally don't like to take medication. You know, they cause a host of so many other side effects and issues and everything like that. And I'm not saying not go to the doctor. What I'm saying is, discuss with your doctor, or see a nutritionist, or do some reading, at the very least, some research, okay? Because a lot of times, you know, food allergy, okay, a food allergy is, you know, like if you eat peanuts or eggs or whatever it is, and you could go into anaphylactic shock. That's an allergy. but you also have food sensitivities. So you may be able to eat something, and your body might not react to it well. And if you eat that certain something, over and over again, not realizing it, it can manifest so many things for your health. It can cause headaches, it can cause swelling, joint pain, fatigue, um, God, any number of things. So I'm going for a food sensitivity test. It's a blood test, and it'll tell you what your body may or may not be able to handle. So if you're aware of those things and you cut those things out of your diet, even for just, a week or 10 days or a month or whatever it is, you may see a difference and you may avoid having to take a medication. Okay. So that's just something to, quick backstory. A coworker of mine at her old job, she said that her supervisor always felt, sick and tired and just not right and achy and just like low mood and everything. And she went and she took this test, and it turns out that, among other things, one of the things that her body really couldn't process or handle properly was lemon. And this woman sat and put lemon in her tea every day. She was a hot tea junkie, and she had just used lemon juice, lemon juice, lemon juice, trying to avoid the milk and the sugar. Her body couldn't process lemon. So once she learned that about herself and she cut out the lemon, and there were, some other foods or whatever, but once she cut those things out of her diet, she really felt so much better. So aside from, the GMOs and the chemicals and all this other, the pesticides and all that other stuff, that's a whole other mess of conversation. But if you learn little things about yourself and how your body works, not how the human body works in general, people cannot have celiac disease and still have a gluten sensitivity and still experience issues. So just kind of, hair is stuck to my dreads are back, you see? My dreads. But they get stuck to my fucking jewelry and zippers and Velcro and my nails when I got a chip or whatever. But I love them. They're here to stay forever. Anyway, if you learn those little things about yourself, you can really make a big difference in your health. And I'm really not one to, I'm not turning into a health guru, and I'm not going to like shove things down people's faces and everything. I do still smoke cigarettes, but I roll my own. I buy tobacco online. I roll my own cigarettes, so I'm not smoking the formaldehyde and the, list of 120 chemicals that they put in manufactured cigarettes. It is what it is. I like to smoke. I enjoy it, whatever. Anyway, moving on to the planner. What I also have for the monthly is this little personal growth chart. Okay. I made that as well. And I know it's kind of light. You can't see it. But this is also 1 through 15. So it's half of the month. I could have made it bigger, and I could have, but I didn't want it to be too overwhelming or too like, on the page, So 2 weeks worth of stuff here. And what this is 7 different things that I would like to focus on a semi-daily basis. Now, I know I'm not going to get to all of them every day. I don't plan on getting to all of them every day, but I want to be able to see where I'm going with my goals, with my personal goals, my spiritual goals. So I have here affirmations, reading, journaling, tarot, Reiki, meditation, and altar work. So, I want to try to kind of get into a little daily spiritual ritual. Nothing crazy, nothing, out there or whatever. But this also is going to kind of help me keep track of my spare time. I want to see what I'm doing in my spare time. So hopefully, affirmations aren't too hard. That's not too bad. A good way to incorporate affirmations every day is to just pick 1 or 2, maybe 1 for the morning and 1 for the evening. Or a general kind of one, and you can put a sticky note on your mirror in your bedroom or in your bathroom. You can stick it on the dashboard in your car. Affirmation is just a short, quick kind of sentence that you can say to yourself or repeat to yourself, almost like a mantra. that you can, kind of just remind yourself, or just take a minute to like ground yourself and just repeat this positive affirmation to yourself. So that's one thing that I hope to check off every day. I have a few affirmations and things in mind. I just want to try to break it down, and I think I might change it up like every month, just to keep it interesting, just to keep it fresh, and just so it doesn't become too repetitive that it becomes meaningless, because that can happen too, you know. So that should be a check mark that I'm able to do every day. Reading, I have a ton of books that I want to read. I have a ton of books on my wish list that I want to order. So, I don't read as much as I would like to. So I really want to check that box off. So, within the 2 weeks, I want to see how many days did I sit down and read. If it's only 5 days out of 15, that's not really that good. And that's really something that I should try to work on, even if it's just, half an hour a day. Journaling, I used to be a big journaler. Journaler, is that a word? I used to journal more often. Now I look at my journal, and months will go by before I write anything, so that's not good either. I really want to get like a decent journal entry at least once a week. I feel like witchcraft, for me, is more like a personal journey. It's more like a self-discovery, self-development kind of thing. So that's really a good way to get in touch with your feelings, get emotions out. I've always wrote, even when I was little, before I knew how to write. I would sit there with the pen